When I graduated from veterinary school, it was 1990, and I went straight into private practice. I worked in my hometown of West Plains, Missouri, and then I moved to Northwest Arkansas after 4 years. And during that time, I met my husband, and we were married and started having a family. And while I was doing that, I started teaching a night class at Missouri Southern, AP1. I was an adjunct for several semesters and then transitioned into a full-time position. When I married my husband, he owned 40 acres just down the road, and that is where we lived initially. And my husband grew up milking cows. He had his own little herd of cows. First one started as a 4-H project in 6th grade. And then by the time he went off to college, he had 30 or 40 head of milk cows, and he sold, which I think was probably one of the most sad days in his life. And then we just happened on a dispersal sale in Pea Ridge, Arkansas. It was a Jersey cow sale, and he said, wouldn't it be great to have a dairy where people could come in and get milk, and maybe we could make ice cream or cheese. And at that point, our children were very small, and I was working as an epidemiologist at that time. And we had just purchased the farm where we live now and where our dairy barn is. And so we hatched this plan in about 24 hours and bought a herd of young Jersey cows. None of them would start milking for about 2 years. So we had 2 years to remodel a barn, figure our business plan, and start milking. And initially I was going to stay home and run the dairy, but honestly I found my job at Missouri Southern, and the students just inspire me. Sometimes I think they're my lifeline. I try to take experiences from the farm into the classroom. I'll even do cheese samples in the lab, so they're actually handling real food and running the test as they would in a state food lab. But I try to take many experiences into the classroom, even into the lecture, not to mention all the funny stories that happen. I have to tell the students those on a daily basis. I have so much joy working with the students, watching them learn and be creative, and I just didn't want to relinquish that. And actually, when we first started making cheese, Missouri Southern allowed me to have a year off. And during that year, I traveled to many states, Vermont, Maine, Canada, New York, to learn the cheese making process. And so I had a full year to get that started, learn the process and how to make the cheese with our specific milk and the terroir, which is the specific flavors that is unique to a farm based on the grasses that are in the field. And after that year, I was more than ready to come back to Missouri Southern. We had our process down, so that's where I am. And now my husband actually does most of the cheese making. I try to do the business end, but in the summer I pitch in and I make quite a bit of cheese and help out down there as well. My major project right now is the medical school early acceptance program, the YTL, or Years to Lose program. And I'm the director of that, and I am very much involved with it. I believe in it. I feel it's going to be successful. We have our inaugural class starting this fall. I'm super excited to be a part of them and to be able to lead them through this process. It is very important to take our jobs to the next level and be serious with our service work and really just jump in there and do what we can to make our university a success.